Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 91 of Heard You Like Me, and this one is titled Relaxed. Friend? What friend? Danky asked with surprise and confusion, his head whipping towards you. I don't know what you're talking about. You jerked your head in gesture to the closest window. Cutie by the gate? You asked with a smirk. She followed us from the train. Oh, yeah, Danky said a little nervously, looking out the window towards her. While he was looking, the girl at the gate slowly backed away and then walked off, disappearing behind the fence that enclosed the Hot Springs resort. Denki let out a little sigh of relief. Oh, man, Riz God, he said, turning his attention back to you. I don't think Riz was anywhere near me this afternoon. I had, skibbity Riz. Not the skibbity Riz, you gasped with faux dismay. Why, what happened? I saw you go and talk to her and then you came back. And do excuse me for eavesdropping in on your little monologue, but it sounded like she was a little different. Different? Denki asked, his eyes snapping up to meet yours. Bro, different is not the right word. Okay, what word then? You asked him. Man, I don't want to be rude, but you know how they say that hot girls are crazy? He asked. Yeah? You replied with a curious head tilt. Yeah, well, she was beyond that. He replied. She was a little obsessed with animals, and I don't mean in a good way. I'm not really sure exactly where she stood, but she was, not my type. He looked back out the window and shuddered. Hope she doesn't come back. She knows I'm here now, Denki said sadly. And I don't think you have to worry, you said encouragingly, reaching an arm out to place it on his shoulders to steady him. It's fine. I can't hear her thoughts anymore, so either she's gone quiet or she's out of range. Wait, Denki said as he looked at you. You can hear her thoughts, so you know what I mean, right? Why did you ask me what was going on if you knew? You smiled and then chuckled. I don't know, call it habit, but I've lived too long with this quirk and I've grown accustomed to testing people, you mused, removing your hand from his shoulder as you thought about it. I guess when you have my quirk, you know what people are thinking and whatnot, so you have a chance to see if people are trustworthy and honest or not. What do you mean? Denki asked curiously, both of you turning to follow the rest of the class when you heard Momo call for everyone to follow her through the reception area. Well, sometimes people will think something like, oh, I hate that shirt on her. And then you ask them, what do you think of my shirt? And they'll go, oh my gosh, I love it so much. So then you know that you can't really trust them, or that they're just not nice. You said with a shrug. Oh, yeah, okay, I see. He replied with a head nod. So yeah, I guess subconsciously I wanted to see if you'd tell me what was going on, or if you tried to lie about it or hide it, you said, giving him a small smile. Sorry, it's not that I mistrusted you or anything, and I probably should stop doing that, but it's just become a bit of a habit now. It's okay, Denki replied with a big grin. Sometimes when it comes to quirks, it just becomes a part of your personality. You stopped and stared at him. Bro, that was probably the smartest thing I've ever heard you say, you said. Oh, hey now, come on. I know I'm not the smartest person here, but I can be a little more smart when I want to be, Denki said defensively. Depending on which one of the boys is using that single brain cell you share? You asked teasingly. Yeah, pretty much, Denki said. Just then there was a loud bang from up ahead, and you and Denki looked up in that direction to see what had happened, and saw Kiri had walked face first into a pole. Karishma, are you okay? Momo asked with concern, her query being followed by everyone else's questions of concern and offers of help. I'm okay, Kiri said with a small chuckle, rubbing his forehead with his hand. I don't know what happened. I just didn't see it. You looked at Denki and he looked at you. Yeah, it's because you have that final brain cell now, you said with a smirk. Yeah, I've got it, so he wasn't using it, Denki replied, the two of you then breaking out into laughter from the back of the group. After you had been directed to your cabins, you all got changed into some nicer clothes for dinner and then met at the dining hall for some food. The afternoon had kind of just slipped away under all of the travel from the day and getting set up at the Hot Springs place, and before you knew it, it was night time and you had finished your dinner and were now looking forward to dipping in the lovely hot springs that were calling your name. Bath? You asked loudly as you walked out from the dining hall with the rest of the class following. Bath? Mina replied to your question with her own question, and so you decided to keep it going by asking the question of bath back to her too. Your queries of bath being added to by Sarah and Denki, who picked up on the silliness pretty much straight away, until most of the more unhinged of the class were also asking the question of bath, until it was a cacophony of noise as you squawked and squabbed your way back to the cabins and then got your things together for a bath. Oh man, I cannot wait to be wrapped in warmth, melting all of my stress away, you said dramatically. What stress do you have? Jirou asked from her bed, where she was grabbing her towel and scrub brush. None, that's the thing, you said with a grin. The conversation got hijacked then by the other girls adding their 2 cents and allowed you to revisit your actual current stress. How to ask your parents if you could transfer into the hero course in Japan. Would they let me? You wondered, falling quiet as you internalized. What's the worst case scenario? You then asked yourself. Going back to France and having to go back to my old hero course would be worst case scenario. Not being with my girls and possibly having them start dating and not want me in the trio would also be mega worst case scenario too. How would I deal with that? You wondered, pausing and just standing there staring at your bed and letting a wave of depression wash over you at the thought. Yin! Hey! At the Yin! Mina called, snapping you out of your despair. Yo! You called as you looked up sharply. What's up? You coming? She asked, and that's when you realised everyone was waiting at the door of the cabin for you and you were just standing there spacing out like a loony. Yeah, it was just saying a sweet goodbye to my bed and that I'd be back soon, you joked, covering for yourself as you walked to the door. As you stepped out with the girls, you noticed the air seemed a little thicker and there was a lot of low-lying mist hanging around. Oh, you asked as you stepped off the porch. This is weird. What is? Momo asked. Mist, fog, what is that? You asked, gesturing to the low-lying mist that was hovering off the ground in the pale moonlight. Well, we're quite high up in the mountains, Momo said with a smile as she walked beside you. It is not uncommon for mist to settle early in the evening and night. It'll clear by tomorrow. Huh, you huffed with amusement. I didn't know that. I just thought it was strange it popped up so quickly. Well, it may have been there before that we went to our rooms, but we were quite preoccupied, Momo said. Yeah, Mina added, listening in on the conversation. Bath? Bath? You asked back to her, which set off another round of asking about the bath as you made your way towards it. The water was indeed beautiful and warm, and you sank your body down under the liquid heat and sighed with content as your muscles all relaxed and your eyelids fluttered closed. Ah, you hummed as you felt someone slowly getting into the pool beside you. Oh, this is just wonderful, you heard Momo say as she sat down next to you, her bare hip touching yours. You reached out for her leg under the water and ran your hand up and down her thigh closest to you and sighed again. Magical, you said with your eyes still closed and a grin on your face. On your left, you heard Jirou say as she stepped into the water on your left and lowered herself down beside you. That does actually sound really good. I could go for a hot springs right now. Stay tuned for chapter 92 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.